Hey everyone, Chloe here and welcome back to this feminine channel. And if you are new here, ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers, welcome. So in today's case study or cautionary tale video, I wanted to continue a town hall conversation that was started over on the gram at Hypergamous Hive. And shout out to the Hive, and an even bigger shout out to my Patreon supporters from Kenya to Tia to Elle to Nia to Kyla to Mumby to Marianne, and so many more ladies who keep the New Feminine School thriving and videos like this possible. Now, the cautionary tale of Kimora Lee Simmons and her now estranged and very shady former fake husband, Mr. Tim Leisner, has taken quite the interesting spin. When I first started my YouTube channel in 2019 and my website, the Hypergamous Life, I was swamped with requests of hypergamous examples because back in 2019, Black women were beginning to get very excited about hypergamy, and I was getting thousands of requests for public, leveled up examples of why Black women, or in Kimora's case, women of color, should always date out. And the hypergamous example of Mrs. Kimora getting to the bag, Princess Lee Simmons, was always a highly requested hypergamous example. Because as many of you know, Kimora Lee, who is the quintessential glamorous princess boss archetype, has always been where the money resides and has always been about her hypergamous coins, since her first marriage at the age of 23 to the now disgraced hip-hop mogul Mr. Russell Simmons. And by the way, if you get a chance to watch the very powerful documentary On the Record, I highly suggest that you do so. So now enter the cautionary tale story of a Mr. Tim Leisner, a lie-telling fraudster and chameleon who would make the Tinder swindler look like Prince Charming. So for a bit of a backstory, and for those of you who don't know, in 2012, Leisner was en route to a Formula One race when he met Kimora Lee Simmons on a business class flight, and then a year later, under very false pretenses, were married in 2013. They gave birth to their son, Wolf Leisner, in 2015, and then less than 2 years later, Tim was busted by the feds for the white-collar crimes of embezzling and pocketing a whopping $200 million in Goldman Sachs kickbacks, as a part of what is now known as the 1MDB scandal, which is the largest corruption and financial scam in history, and a scam that would pale in comparison to the legendary American pyramid scheme fraudster and the now deceased Mr. Bernie Madoff. Kimora's so-called lavish life hypergamous husband would later plead guilty to the feds for the white-collar crimes of bribery and embezzlement in exchange for a plea deal and a shortened prison sentence, as long as he agreed to testify against his former business partners. And basically, Tim agreed to testify against everybody. And in the deal, he also agreed to return all of his remaining earnings, a total of $43 million, which left him completely broke. Now, Tim and his former colleague, Roger, as it stands, are currently on trial in a Manhattan federal court. And to make money matters even worse, Tim also allegedly was able to finesse stock funds from Russell Simmons, allegedly with the help of Kimora, in order to fund his keep me out of jail bond, all so that he doesn't have to rot away in prison while currently on trial. As it stands, Kimora and her fake husband are currently estranged, and on February 14th, Valentine's Day of all days of this year, Timmy Lietelling had to admit in a Manhattan court that he forged divorce papers in order to marry Kimora and is guilty of being a serial bigamous pimp who is currently married to 3 women across 3 continents, in addition to having a 10-year mistress. So as you can see, ladies, with your very own eyes, all that hypergamously glitters isn't always gold. Tim is an alleged fraud, a liar, a thief, is of low character, and is a confirmed cheater, and is now facing some serious white-collar jail time as a federal snitch. So one of the strongest ultimate lessons to learn here is that appearances are everything and nothing at the same time. Now, getting to the dating and marrying out part. Now, I have never and I will never have a problem with Black women social climbing or dating out or marrying out. My sister is married to a wonderfully vetted Turkish Armenian provider who is my brother-in-law, nor will I ever have a problem with black women casting out a wider net to a variety of men. It is no secret that the dating and the marriage marketplace is highly, highly competitive. And when it is all said and done, it is a numbers game. And it becomes even more increasingly competitive when it comes to hypergamy, which is why you need to subscribe to this channel. So, of course, a woman, and rightfully so, should cast a wider net to increase her chances of hypergamous success. And some feathers are going to be ruffled to hear this, but don't argue with me. Argue with your liver, and enough of the played out tiresome tropes. But from the beginning of this channel, I have always stood my ground on the fact that discernment, a spirit of discernment, will always be needed when it comes to dating. And that men are men are men are men. And that dating out does not automatically mean dating better. As broke men, abusive men, user men, low character men, and narcissistic men will come in all shades, colors, and nationalities of Era 404 dysfunction. Ladies, all men are to be vetted, because the raw truth is, and this is especially for my ear hustlers, sorry to disappoint you, but there really isn't any group of men that are better than any other. And the brutally honest truth is that all men must be judged individually and on a case-by-case basis. And another point that needs to be discussed, and that isn't discussed often, is the overinvestment in the images of other people. Now, I love the way that Russell Wilson publicly loves on Ciara. I love the foundational rock that LeBron has built and has provided for his beautiful girl next door wife, Savannah James, and his family. And of course, I love seeing Harry and Meghan going strong together and showing up at the NAACP Awards together. And of course, I love seeing Steph and his wife enjoy their marriage while breaking away from that stodgy Christian image and living their lives more for themselves. But there is a very thin line, ladies, between aspirational hope and living vicariously and or living through the lives of people that you simply do not know. Because eventually you will be severely disappointed when you discover that the image of what you think you want is a highly flawed mirage, a facade, and a straight up fantasy. So for the love of God, stop putting other races of men on an unearned pedestal, because that kind of limited thinking can and will put your life in jeopardy. Men are men, and black men and mixed men and light-skinned men and poor men and rich men, as well as other races of men, will straight up embarrass you, humiliate you, harm you, have a mistress on the side, mollywop you, rob you, and will have you out here looking a whole clown and a whole plumb fool. Tim Leisner is proof positive that a man with a bag can be a high-level Decepticon and can be filled with nothing but smoke and mirrors. So that is all that I have to say on this for now. The best part of this humiliating scandal is that Kimora Lee doesn't appear to be criminally linked to her fake husband's white-collar crime activity at all, at least for now, and that her baby fat legacy isn't being dragged through the mud. Now, her estranged husband is on trial in Manhattan, fighting for his life for being a part of the world's biggest fraud case. So, of course, for Kimora Lee, that is highly stressful, and thankfully, white-collar crime does not get the kind of low-brow attention that blue-collar street crime gets, which means that she is free to move on, and that she is free to stick and move and to hitch her wagon onto the next hypergamous train. So, ladies and lurkers, is Kimora Lee's story a fall from hypergamous grace? Is it easier to be conned and deceived and blinded when a man is the face of money and wealth? And how much jail time do you think that Timmy Lietelling is going to get for stealing over 200 million bands? And how would you honestly feel if someone stole 200 million bands from your bank account? And as always, I look forward to reading your reactions, your responses, and your comments to this video below. And stay tuned for more hypergamous tales gone wrong to come. And I will catch up with you ladies and lurkers in the next one.